Since 2017, the Italian Wine Podcast has exploded and expects to hit 6 million listens by the end of July 2023. We're celebrating this success by recognizing those who have shared the journey with us and giving them the opportunity to contribute to the ongoing success of the shows. By buying a paper copy of the Italian Wine Unplugged 2.0 or making a donation to help the ongoing running costs, members of the international Italian wine community will be given the chance to nominate future guests and even enter a prize draw to have lunch with Stevie Kim and Professor Attilio Scienza. To find out more, visit us at italianwinepodcast.com. Chin chin! Welcome to this special Italian Wine Podcast broadcast. This episode is a recording off Clubhouse, the popular drop-in audio chat. This Clubhouse session was taken from the Wine Business Club and Italian Wine Club. Listen in as wine lovers and experts alike engage in some great conversation on a range of topics in wine. If you enjoy listening, please consider donating through italianwinepodcast.com. Any amount helps cover equipment, production, and publication costs. And remember to subscribe and rate our show wherever you tune in.
Hello, everybody. My name's Stevie Kim, and welcome to the Italian Wine Club on Clubhouse. And today, this is, of course, the Ambassador's Corner. We're approaching our 100th episode of this series, the Ambassador's Corners. It's more like a fire chat style. And what it is one of our Italian wine ambassadors at large, they get to choose their favorite wine producer in Italy. And they have this call for it. It's about 60 minutes. And it is actually one of our most popular shows which gets replayed on the Italian Wine Podcast. And today's mod is Kevin Di Lucente. Ciao, Kevin.
Ciao, Stevie. Thanks for having me back.
Yeah, how are you, Kevin?
I'm doing great, despite all the smoke
smog,
from the Canadian wildfires.
Yes.
Yeah,
you're surviving. That's good. Listen, so of course, for those of you who are less familiar, Kevin Di Lucente, he was the top student from our New York edition, Vinitaly International Academy, a few years back, like 3 years back, I want to say.
July 2021, Stevie.
Okay,
I remember
July 20. Yeah, you remember very well. And of course, he has been in the wine industry for numerous years, I think about 15 years, still represents WineBa from what I understand. And today he has chosen, who is your favorite producer you've chosen?
Paolo Montioni.
Paolo Montioni. So tell us a little bit about Paolo. Why did you choose Paolo to be on your call today?
Well, the VIA community is great at connecting people, and I not so secretly love Sagrantino, and I saw last year the VIA community went on a cultural trip there,
and you were jealous.
Also quite recent, I was jealous, and I saw that you and Leica were recently there in the videos that you've been producing, and I'm like, I want to go.
You will have to go.
To introduce.
Okay, it's fantastic.
I definitely will. Yes.
So what are the learning objectives today?
Well, aside from the obligatory learning about the region, the history, the estate, the native grapes, and all that, as someone who works in the wholesale field, we quite often hear a lot of technical information, how are the wines made and whatnot. But something I wanted to get into a little bit in this conversation is how are the wines, how do we sell the wines? How do we as ambassadors of Montefalco and Italian wines in general go into the markets, and what do we, other than telling them about, stories and history, how can we effectively sell the wines and represent them best in the market?
Yeah, that's a great point, because I've been on kind of a talking tour lately in Italy, and I've been trying to tell the producers and the winemakers. I mean, we take it for granted that the wine is good, what's in the bottle, right? But the most difficult part is selling the wine. So that's caused a lot of discussion all over Italy. So hopefully we will be listening to this conversation very quickly. So I'm leaving the mic over to you now, Kevin, and we'll come back towards the end of the show to see if there are any questions. Okay?
Sounds good. Thanks, Stevie.
Okay, ciao.
Paolo, I'm going to give a little quick synopsis of who you are real quick, and then we'll get into some questions if that's okay.
Ciao, Kevin. Of
Yeah,
course.
thanks for joining us. So Paolo Montioni, he has been the owner of Cantina Montioni for the last 20 years and declares himself 100%, 100% Montefalchese, as he was born and raised there. He has a lovely wife, Sarah, and is the father of two children, Giacomo and Matteo, and has the passion to cultivate Sagrantino and promote the wines all over the world. He also loves traveling. He's traveled to over 50 countries to date. Oh my, Paolo, you are definitely racking up the countries. I'm nowhere near that number. And obviously, you just love promoting Umbria in general throughout the world on all your adventures that you go on. Paolo, welcome. Thanks for joining.
Ciao, Kevin. Welcome. Thank you. And hello to everybody. Yes, of course. I visited 50 countries of the world for my pleasure and, of course, for my business.
Terrific. So you go off on adventure while you're in these countries. What are some of the adventures that you've been on?
Depend. Adventure can be visit the city center, visit the Medina, or visit the real style of the country. But the unique goal is take culture to bring in my winery.
So you're not climbing Mount Everest, you're saying?
Yes.
I'm kidding. So let's get into some questions here, and as we do, feel free to get as nerdy, as geeky as possible, because I know that a lot of the listeners of this podcast are very interested in the minute details of things, filling in the cracks of things that are generally known about the areas. And you know, I know that there are people that maybe are listening to this that maybe are not as familiar with the region or the area, but I always think it's better to over explain and get into detail and create curiosity rather than just be general. So don't be afraid to get really nerdy and geeky as I ask these questions. And the first one I'm going to ask you is about the region of Montefalco, its history. I understand that there's some ties to Federico II and quite possibly St. Francis of Assisi. Could you talk a little bit more about that?
So of course. So Montefalco, it's the balcony of Umbria, so because it's in the center of Umbria. It's a small town, not too far from Assisi or Spello or Bevagna. It's a beautiful place where the Federico, the Roman Empire. Federico, the Roman Empire, spent their time to hunting falcon. Montefalco, before to give Montefalco name, it was Coccorone. When arrived Federico II and he chose like a beautiful place for hunting with falcon, give the name like mountain and falcon. So the currently name it's because Federico, the king of the Roman Empire, chose like a beautiful place for hunting falcon.
Paolo, do you have any falcons?
Not, but you can
No.
find in the springtime a lot of falcon around of Montefalco.
Very, very nice. I like to hear that the tradition remains since Federico II. So, what is the climate like in this area? Have you noticed, because you've been there your entire life, have you noticed a change in climate throughout? I know there's talks of climate change all over the world. Have you noticed that in your region?
Yes, I think we are looking for a climate change. So we don't have spring and autumn, but I think we have only summer and winter. So what happened? In general, the Montefalco climate was moderate and continental, not too cold winter and not too dry and high temperature in the summer, with moderate rain in the spring and then autumn summer. But since 2-3 years ago, we had moderate climate winter. so not too cold, but it's about 7-10 degrees, and dry plus summer until 38-40 degrees. If you imagine, for example, that last year we were 4 months without rain, and the medium temperature from May until August was 38 degrees. So the climate change arrived in Montefalco.
Very interesting. So, talking more about the region and the soils,
Montefalco,
what are the soils like around your area? I understand that there's some clay in there, and but how did they
yes.
form?
First of all, imagine that Montefalco it's on a hill. The top we are on 450 meters from the sea level, but the down part it's about 200 meters from the sea level, because Montefalco originally was an ancient lake. So at the down part of Montefalco we can find alluvial deposit. On the top, clay and sandstone soil. About the soil and about my philosophy. My philosophy is grown Sagrantino in different part of Montefalco. Of course, in the high level part of Montefalco, but in different place. In the place where we have more windy area, and clay soil in the southwest part of Montefalco, where we have a lot of sun and less wind, because the idea is produce an unbelievable wine, like we can reply in different place.
So these areas that you're talking about, are these subzones that you guys are isolating and gave names to, or are these just general areas? It's all called Montefalco.
Is in general is the Montefalco denomination, because Montefalco denomination is the communion of 5 towns. But of course, the hill of Montefalco is the most prestigious, and it's the most important. And of course, I have all of my property in the heart of the Montefalco denomination, like Montefalco town.
All right, terrific. So how did your family first acquire the land that you now have as your estate?
Yes.
And where are these sites in relation to all that, and where lines?
Uh, First of all, Montioni family is one of the oldest family located in Montefalco. We just are at the fourth generation with my children Matteo and Giacomo, and I'm the third generation. So Montioni family, it's a big fan of Montefalco, and of course my family always support Montefalco wines, and of course Montefalco lifestyle. How we arrive in this situation? Of course, my grandfather, it was a good farmer, but the next idea, the international idea, was mine. When I finished my accountancy study, I entered immediately in my family company. I'm honest, I fight with my father because the vision was completely different. I have an international vision, and my father have a local vision. And of course, after 2-3 years of fight, I take in my hand all the property, and of course I make the big investment of my life. I build an ambitious and a beautiful winery not too far from the city center of Montefalco, and of course step by step I bought about 25 hectares new land, and inside of the 25 hectares of new land I bought two beautiful rural like house or rural factory, and of course I planted more Sagrantino or Montefalco wines.
So when you say that the difference in opinion you had with your father was a difference between local and international, so you're saying that your international vision was to expand and make a higher production instead of just a production for your local area?
Yes, of course. So my goal is produce high level Sagrantino, award Sagrantino, and of course promote around of the world the Sagrantino. and invest in the incoming sector.
Terrific. And that brings us back to, I really want to not move past Sagrantino too much in this chat. What makes a great Sagrantino? How do you work with a grape that is considered the most tannic grape, one of the most tannic grapes in the world, and certainly the most tannic grape in Italy? What do you need to do to
In
make
my
it balance?
Kevin, in my opinion, it was one of the tannic Sagrantino, of the tannic wines of Italy, like of the world. But why Sagrantino was tannic? Was tannic because the wine area it was too young. If you imagine that the DOCG denomination of Sagrantino has only 30, 35 years about, or 40 maximum. So when the winery, the consortium make the decision to invest strong on the Sagrantino vision, imagine that it was only 20 years ago. We plant new vineyards, we plant new strategic about how to promote Sagrantino, and now we take the result of 20. At the beginning of the Sagrantino investment, the vines give us young product, not too ready, not too evolved wine. Now with the oldest vines, we are looking to produce a more smooth wine, a more delicate Sagrantino wine. It's the result, in my opinion, of the time.
Yeah, terrific. So your vineyards are, some of them are older than 20 years, but some are younger than 20 years, right? Based on the history of what you said.
Kevin, excuse me, can you repeat?
So the age of your vines presently at your estate varies based on, you doing some of those newer plantings, when you took over for your father, but there was some existing vines prior to that that you're still working with.
Yes, of course. And now we have oldest vines like 35 years old.
Terrific, terrific.
Yes,
So
and of course, Kevin, I'm honest. And with the 2023 harvest, I'm looking to release, to produce a new wines, a new Sagrantino wines from a single part of my vineyards, my oldest vineyards, like 35 years old. So as soon as I release another Sagrantino from oldest vines in a big jar fermentation.
So what wines do you make now at the estate? What are all the wines you make?
Excuse me, Kevin?
What are all the wines that you currently produce at the estate?
We produce Montefalco Rosso, Montefalco Sagrantino Passito, Montefalco Sagrantino Regular Black Label, and of course my special selection from my best single vineyards in honor of my children. So Magia.
So in the Montefalco Rosso, what is the makeup of that wine?
65% Sangiovese, 20% Merlot, and 15% Sagrantino, of course. Harvest by hand, 3 different harvests, natural fermentation, 1 year in oak barrels, and 6 months in the bottle. A perfect barbecue wine.
Is it very common for people to plant Merlot in the area, and do you find challenges with finding
Uh,
that varietal?
yes or not, but I'm a Merlot fan. Because Merlot, it's adapt grapes, give us always the good result and a good wine. And of course, a good color wine.
So, and when you're actually making it, and specifically the Sagrantino wines, obviously we know that the DOCG has a minimum aging requirement. Are you sticking to that? Are you going beyond that? What type of wood are you using?
Yes, of course, minimum my Sagrantino. So now I produce 3 different Sagrantino for in the past, in the future. So what happened? I produce a black label Sagrantino, is my regular Sagrantino, and minimum mature 24 months in a hook barrels. Of course, we do the late harvest, 15, 20 October, and after the fermentation, in contact with the skins, my Sagrantino matured 24 months in the wooden barrel. Plus, I have my special selection, a limited edition, a limited production wine to celebrate the 4th generation. So the Sagrantino Gold label, the nickname is Magia, like the letter of my children, Matteo and Giacomo, and we call inside of our winery a fourth generation wine from the best grapes of my best vineyards. And this kind of Sagrantino, the grapes ferment for 4 months in a wooden barrel, so stay in contact with the skins, the wine stays in contact with the skins for 4 months, and after that, with the same barrels, the wine mature 36 months in the wooden barrel. The third wine, it's our sweet wine, dessert wine with the same Sagrantino grapes. And the Sagrantino sweet wine mature 24 months in a wooden barrel.
So, like very similar to in the Veneto with Amarone and Recioto,
Yeah.
Sagrantino was traditionally made as a sweet wine, correct?
Yes, of course. In the past, so the origin of Sagrantino was sweetness.
Terrific. So you're still making that as a traditional wine.
Yes, in honor of the tradition of Montefalco. And of course, in my opinion, because it's convenient to have all the portfolio wine. So you can introduce with the Montefalco Rosso or continue with Sagrantino, and the end of meal with a sweet wine with tart, cookies, or a good espresso.
Oh, terrific. So just a little side detour here. Your family also produces olive oil, is that right?
Yes, of course. We grown 5,000 olive trees, plus we have the olive mill. And of course, we produce two different kind of olive oil, cold extraction, healthy olive oil, because our acidity is around below zero 0.2. Yes, we work strong also in the olive oil sector.
So I read that in the bio that you sent over to me that you're the only mill left in the area. Is there a reason for that? Is this just something that people
We
abandoned over the years?
actually in Montefalco, we are the only olive mill.
Italian Wine Podcast, brought to you by Mama Jumbo Shrimp.
I see. Okay, but there's others in the region.
Yes, of course. In the region, I think there are 80, 90 olive mill.
What makes the two different olive oils that you make different? It's the different olives that you're using?
Yes. Of course, we have the same philosophy of Sagrantino, grown indigenous olives, and the indigenous olives are Moraiolo and Frantoio, and I'm looking to produce two different type of olive oil. One delicate, that the consumer can use for everything, and the delicate, it's harvested by hand, crushed in a cold extraction in my olive mill, and it's blend of two olives, 50% Moraiolo and 50% Frantoio. The other one, it's a little bit intense, it's a little bit peppery, spicy, and of course it's 100% indigenous olives Moraiolo.
So the way that you're farming the olive trees and farming your vineyards, are there certain practices that you use that are universal across the two? Talk a little bit more about how you work your vineyards and your orchards.
First of all, fortunately, the time of pruning the olives and the time of pruning the vineyards are not the same. So if you want to know our year work, we started in January with the pruning of vineyards, and the pruning of our vineyards give us 2 months about. After that, we cut the olive tree in 3 months. So January and February we have vineyards pruning. February, March, April, and May olive tree pruning. It's to respect the environment. We don't use tractor or other things. We only use battery scissor. Okay, so we don't have utensil that need gasoline or other things. It's only by hand. We have scissor with electric force and that we can use by hand. After that, the olive trees sleep until the harvest. So we must only control what happened in the land. We must control what happened in the land. We spray, we give nutrients to the branches of to the leaves and nothing else. So we are looking to attend the harvest. Completely different from the vineyards. From the vineyards, we have a lot of things to do during May, June, and July. We must control that insect or fungus don't attack the grapes. So the work is too hard in the vineyards.
So is that the biggest challenge to things like Sagrantino? Is there's pests that you have to deter?
In my opinion, no, because I'm looking to look of our past. So I never change the method, the philosophy of grown Sagrantino. In my opinion, if you want to produce an unbelievable wine, it's so important to work hard in the vineyards. And of course, Sagrantino is not a kind of grapes that we can work with mechanical machinery. The secret is work by hand, remove by hand the leaves, pruning very well the vines is so important.
Understood. So, how many between the wines and the olive oil you produce? What's your production level like? How many bottles of each do you make roughly?
I'm honest. This is a so Kevin. I know very well U.S. wine market because in my winery arrive a lot of U.S. people, and this is a question that I heard frequently from my visitors. I in the olive oil business, it's not correct tell how many bottles, but how many liters, because our olive oil we put in cans and small cans, 750 ml bottle. So I can give you the exactly answer. I produce 50,000 liters of extra virgin olive oil and 65,000 bottles of wines.
Terrific. So, you export outside of Italy, correct? Where are your major export markets?
US,
So, U.S. Who is your U.S. importer?
Total Wine.
Ah, Total Wine. Very
Yes.
cool.
Yes. So we have a good agreement with Total Wine. We work strong with Total Wine, and of course we are in the LCBO. Another strong market is Canada. In Canada, we have a private importer and LCBO, and of course we are present in Puerto Rico.
Very cool.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You said many times you're a fourth generation estate. I always like to talk about what it's like working with your family. I've got two brothers and a sister, and
Yes.
I don't know that I could
No,
work
one
with them.
brother and one sister, and they are twins.
So the fourth generation is getting involved at the winery.
As soon as, because they are too young, 9 and 8 years old, but they are now coming in my winery. They help me to stay in the tasting room. Yes, they are well involved.
And one thing, just kind of going back to the export of your wines, and one of the points that I wanted to make sure that we addressed during this conversation. So when you're presenting your wines in these foreign markets, how are you communicating to people? Because, Sagrantino and Montefalco is not necessarily a huge category, even here in the United States. We obviously love Italian wines, and it's a big, important market for Italian wines. But I would say that certainly other wines are more famous. How are you communicating to
First
these
of all,
people to sell your wines?
Kevin, first of all, at the beginning, I never communicate my wines. I always communicated the ambience, the territory. Hey guys, come in Montefalco. Unbelievable place. So where we grown an unbelievable Sagrantino. Yes, this is the reason.
Okay, great. So, do you ever look outside of Italy or Montefalco at other wines, maybe other wines within Italy or other wines within other parts of the world? as inspiration that you then take back to your winery? Have you gone and visited other places and then said, hey, I want to try this at my winery and this on Sagrantino?
Uh, I'm honest. So I'm always go in the other wine area. Of course, my neighbor is Brunello or Montepulciano. Of course, I visited Adelaide Hills in Australia. I visited Niagara Falls wine area, but it's a little bit difficult to find a kind of wine near Sagrantino, because Sagrantino, in my opinion, is special.
Yeah, absolutely. But you didn't go to any of these wineries and go, oh, there's a practice that they're using in the vineyards. There's a practice that they're using in the cellars that I'm going to try in my own cellars. Is this anything you've ever done before or thought to do?
Yes, of course. So, for example, I visited different winery in the north of Italy, like Friuli, Venezia, Giulia, where they produce a good Tokai or a good red wine. And of course, I learn about their experience for my future wine. So, produce a wine, a Sagrantino wine from oldest vines in a big jar. I learn from Friuli Venezia Giulia.
So you speaking of that, they obviously produce a lot of white wine there. Do you produce a white wine of the Grechetto variety?
Yes,
Correct.
yes.
And which Grechetto is it? Is it the Grechetto di Orvieto or di Todi?
Di Todi. Grechetto. The clone is a Grechetto di Todi.
So how do you make that wine?
Of course, strong work in the vineyards, harvest by hand at the beginning of September, fermentation without skins, because the skins are too tannics for a delicate and smooth wine. So 20 days fermentation, natural, without nothing in the big tank. After that, 3-4 months with the sediment in contact with the inox, and after that go in the bottle. So 20 days fermentation, 4 months contact with the sediment in the stainless steel, and after go in the bottle. So fresh, mineral, tropical fruit wine.
Tropical fruits. So
Yes.
um, the I know the region plants another white varietal that I've heard other producers in the area talk about called Trebbiano
Yeah.
Spoletino. Do
Yeah.
you have plans to do that or any other future projects at the winery that maybe not necessarily that you have on the burner right now that you can talk about?
Kevin, can be a future project.
So you're that's something that you would consider planting in the future?
Yes, probably yes. Not yet, but probably yes.
Why do you think it is that so many people are planting that varietal?
Excuse me, why?
Yeah, why do you think that that varietal is something that people have been concentrating on in that region?
Oh, I don't know. I'm honest. Oh, Kevin, I don't understand now. Can you repeat, please? Because my internet is not too good. Please.
Yeah, I'll happily repeat for you. So the Trebbiano Spoletino
Yeah,
varietal.
yeah.
Why do you think it is that producers are using that varietal, and why is it something that you might consider in the future? What is it about that grape varietal?
Uh, because great they have a good potential for aging, for just one moment, for for give a good opinion or a good wine that can aging also for 3-4 years.
And you think that it can age for the same length as Grechetto di Todi, or longer,
No,
shorter?
no, longer. Trebbiano have a good potential if you compare with Grechetto. Grechetto is a like immediate wine for 1 to 2 years. Trebbiano it's for also 3-4 years.
So going back to how you make the wines and your background, you said you came from the accounting world. Is that right?
Kevin, excuse me, can you repeat? I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
So your background, how did you learn how to make wine? Was it
Oh,
just
yes,
as
wonderful.
you
Yeah.
were? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, excuse me, all the members, but I'm in a not good position with my mobile. Excuse me. So, Kevin, I learn from my winemaker. I studied in accountancy, but I have a good passion, and of course, I love to learn from my winemaker. And my collaboration with my winemaker to this year it's at 23 years.
Terrific. So I know we don't often like to talk about our mistakes, but did you make any mistakes along the way as you were learning that you, if you go back, you wish you hadn't done?
Yes, of course. I always tell what happened. Yes, I always follow the word of my winemaker.
Terrific. Yeah, I won't make you dwell on your mistakes for too long. So you've obviously you've been there your entire life. What are some of your favorite places in and around your state? Is there a place that you visit often and consider yourself very lucky, like a
So,
specific
Kevin,
area?
yes, I understand. So, Kevin, I have two favorite places. One is where I produce the wine in honor of my children, Fonte Petrella. And when you are of course you are welcome here, and when you will be here in my winery, of course I will bring there. So Fonte Petrella is a beautiful place. It's a beautiful place because the environment, the the situation, it's outstanding because Fonte Petrella it's in the southwest part of Montefalco, 410 meters from the sea level, clay soil. The environment is beautiful. You can find in the early morning wild rabbit, pheasant, many birds. It's like a microsystem and unbelievable for grown Sagrantino. So this is one of my favorite places because no rumors, quiet, green, especially in this moment. It's a beautiful place. Of course, I'm honest. I have another beautiful place, and it's my special hill. I have an hill not too far from my headquarters where I grown oldest olive trees until 300 years old, and the particularity of this hill is the view. We have a 360 view on the Umbrian Valley, and of course we can admire the beautiful and most historical cities of Umbria, like Assisi or Bevagna.
So I certainly, if I, when I visit your winery, I certainly won't ask you how many bottles of olive oil. I'll only ask how many liters you make. But
Bravo,
I imagine
bravissimo.
I imagine I might eat some good food there. What are some of the foods that you use your olive oil in, and then
Yeah,
ultimately maybe pair with some of the wines that you produce?
not good food, but unbelievable food. So, Kevin, I work with a lot of U.S. travel agency. I work with most blogger or influencer from United States, and one of the reason because people want to come in Montefalco, it's because they are hungry because of course Sagrantino is the star of Montefalco, but the food is the second star. It's amazing. So drink a bottle of Sagrantino with a good risotto with Sagrantino, or with a fillet of beef, or with tartare, or cook a very good soup of lentils with on the top 100% Moraiolo extra virgin olive oil. It's like an outstanding situation.
So Leica kindly gave me a recommendation to inquire with you more about wine tourism in the area. What is a typical visit to your winery like, and just in general, what are some other things that the region offers to visitors?
So there are many things to do in about wine tourism. So people can come. So I want to explain general wine tourist and Montioni wine tourist. So general wine tourist, people from Rome, from Florence. So people fly to Rome, rent a car or drive or rent or by taxi and arrive in Umbria region. They can do religion tour, so visit the most important church of Umbria. They can do truffle hunting tour. They can do like food tour, so discover truffle, lentils, or pecorino cheese or other things. Or they can do wine tour. Montioni, my winery, is so special for wine tour. If you go in my website or in internet, we are the first on TripAdvisor, the first in Yelp, and we have a good marketing about the touring season. You can imagine that in my tasting area arrive about 7,000-8,000 people a year. And what we can do, people can book in advance the tour, and they can choose 3 different tours with food or without food. And if they choose the half day with Montioni, we bring in our vineyards, we bring in our oldest olive trees. They can see, they can learn about how we produce olive oil. They can learn about we produce wines, and of course finish their tour inside of our tasting area with a lot of wine and of course a lot of high level food.
Well, that sounds lovely. It's just about lunchtime where I'm at right now, so my mouth is
In
watering.
your here is mid afternoon.
Terrific. Yeah. So when these visitors come to your winery and they're going on a tour, what is something that you find most visitors are surprised to learn about the region that maybe they didn't know, maybe something that's kind of a hidden secret about the area?
Yes, first of all, the visitors that arrive in Montefalco in my winery, they remain surprised about our professional, our smile, our passion. Second things, they remain surprised about our environment. So walk around a green way or in the fields of Sagrantino, or find wild asparagus near the trunk of the olive trees. It's an amazing experience, and of course it's natural without chemical product or other things. So the secret and the surprise of people, it's our identity, our lifestyle.
I love that.
You
So
must
there,
come.
yeah. Oh, trust me, I will be there as soon as possible. So Montefalco has a consortio, and I noticed that there's a recent initiative called A Montefalco. Is that correct?
Yes, and this
So
is
can
the
you talk a little
result.
bit more about that and what that is doing for the region and what the initiative is about?
Am Montefalco, Am Montefalco is as I told you, Am Montefalco is an initiative, an event that all the producers want to promote the culture of Montefalco, the good quality, the lifestyle in Montefalco, and what happened in Montefalco.
I see. So you participate in this. There's different
Yes,
events that happen
yeah,
throughout the
yeah,
year. Or
yeah,
is
yeah.
it just one event?
Yes, I participated of the I'm Montefalco event since the first time.
Terrific. So I think that wraps up pretty much most of the questions I had for you, Paolo. Is there anything else you wanted to share about your region or about your wines?
Uh, I think everything is done. I always I appreciate the podcast, and I think the only things is come in Montefalco because it's the one of the real beautiful place of Italy where people work strong, where people are professional, and where people work together to the same goal, the lifestyle in Montefalco.
Well, thank you. It was definitely a pleasure talking to you, Paolo. I'm going to hand the mic back to Stevie Orlika now.
You're welcome, Colin.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much, Paolo and Kevin. Like Paolo said, I think the best way to discover Montefalco is actually go there yourself. So, Kevin, I'm sure they'll be expecting you. So, I'm going to close. That is all for now. See you next time, everyone. Till the next episode. Ciao, ragazzi.
Listen to the Italian Wine Podcast wherever you get your podcasts. We're on SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Himalaya FM, and more. Don't forget to subscribe and rate the show. If you enjoy listening, please consider donating through ItalianWinePodcast.com. Any amount helps cover equipment, production, and publication costs. Until next time, cin cin.